the mental part of the game is almost, if not more important. Staying confident, believing in yourself, talking to yourself positively, battling with adversity, overcoming injuries. There's so many things along your path as a hockey player that's going to challenge you, or an athlete that's going to challenge you mentally. And that's going to make you better in life.
Yeah.
Once the career's over, you're like, okay, what the heck do I do now? You got to figure it out. You got to overcome the adversity. That's why I love hockey. I love it for the kids. I love sports in general for the kids, because you learn so many lessons in the game about overcoming adversity, failures. How can you learn from those failures to succeed the next time? There's so much you can learn from it.
You have to have an unbelievable attitude to operate at that level. You have to. And there's so many people that are they're negative about stuff, and they have negative self-talk. I mean, these are things. Is that something that you learned and you would practice while you you're doing it now still, but to stay at that level? How did you be able to stay mentally fit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to practice it. And I'll tell you honestly, everything that I ever wanted to work for, that I wanted so bad, and I believed with every single ounce of my body, every cell in my core, came true. And then everything that I doubted and had those negative flits in the brain, that sometimes you get that negative thought, and I couldn't turn those off, that happened too. You got to control that. You got to learn how to work both sides of it. Once that doubt creeps in and just infiltrates, it is so toxic.
Yeah.
So finding ways when I was a kid, before I didn't know any better. When I was a kid, I didn't have that. I didn't know. I was naive to the doubt, and I just wanted it and wanted it, and those things came true. And then when you get to the next level, at that highest level over time, little doubt creeps in, and all the things that I worried about and got down on myself about, those things happen.
Poison.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a skill, the mental upkeep. You gotta believe, and when you believe, you gotta believe to the deepest part of your body.
It's a beautiful thing about kids, about, like you said, it's being naive to just all the different negative stuff, and just charging forward and having that positive attitude.
Yep.
It's a gift that kids have, and it's something like I'm sure with your kids, you nourish it for them.
Pump
you know what I mean?
them up.
You got to get them
Pump them
going.
Up. But then you got to teach them the humility part of it. But I'll tell you, there's just so many haters out there now.
Yeah.
And they all have a platform, and they can all reach you, and they can all, message you. There's just so much negativity out there. It's even harder than it ever has been to block that stuff out. External, if that gets in your psyche, I don't know. But there's just, everyone's got a platform. There's so much external hate on people who are successful. That it's even harder now. You have to be 10 times mentally stronger than 100 times than, a guy who played when the only thing that could somebody write something negative on you about was the newspaper,
Sure.
Before social media and all this stuff, before everybody had a voice, But again, you just got that's the mental part of the game, especially when you're on that level and you're on that type of pedestal or that type of stage. You got to be able to block it out. You
just put the blinders on. My father-in-law always tells me, it's don't worry about the person to the right. Don't worry about it. Put your blinders on and just go.
Doesn't matter. You just got to, and it's hard.
It is hard.
You make a mistake, the 20,000 people are watching you, and plus the people on TV,
I can't even think of it on that level. It's just a different world, man.
It's part of it. We've all made the mistake that cost a team the game. You lost your guy, the guy scored the goal, or you made the bad pass in the middle where somebody picked it off and scored. If nobody did that stuff, there'd be no goals in hockey. There'd be no sport. It's a game of mistakes.
Yeah.
But it's the mental part of the game is just as important as the skill and the speed and all the other nonsense. You gotta believe.
Got to believe